All right, y'all. We got another vid for y'all today. Cocomelon, the most evil channel on YouTube. Now, look, I was having a little conversation with my bestie, and she had brought up Cocomelon and how it like brainwashes kids or puts them in a hallucination or something. And I was like, you know what, bestie? I literally scrolled past a video that I saved about Cocomelon. Maybe it was about that. So here I am, and I'm gonna watch the video and I'm gonna see what it's about. And I heard this is crazy, bro. Nah, bro. Like the kids, y'all hypnotizing the kids. Okay. Look, we're recording this live on Twitch. Make sure you drop a follow to the Twitch, pull up to the live stream. Let me know you're from YouTube. You'll be greeted with a warm welcome. You can give me music, video recommendations. We play games. We do commentary, we chill, we joke, we laugh, we do music, we do everything. So pull up and we'll be more than welcome to have you. And yo, shout out to all of y'all that's pulled up to the YouTube like recently. Like I appreciate y'all. Y'all are goats. It's so nice to like actually meet the people that watch the videos. It's so cool to meet y'all. So appreciate y'all, and we gonna continue building this community. But let's get to this video. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Okay, Cocomelon, evil YouTube channel. Chat Cocomelon really evil for real? That's crazy.
2 and I've been letting him watch Coco. My son is almost 2 and I've been letting him watch Cocomelon. But now I had to get him speech therapy so I can get him to talk. There are hundreds and hundreds of anecdotes in which parents...
Wait. So Cocomelon made your son go mute?
Parents mention the exact same problem. The Cocomelon...
Oh, addicted. Oh. So this is basically their version of like scrolling on TikTok. Unfortunately, some kids are sucked into the TikTok cycle. Bless y'all hearts, cause y'all parents not watching y'all. Lord, I have so much to say about how lax people are with their kids having devices and unregulated access on those devices to all these apps, especially with how they're tailored to hack our brain psychology to get us addicted to it, like digital crack essentially. Now imagine a kid whose brain is even less developed than a teenager that's doing it. This is some of the formative years in their life that's getting like literally hooked onto Cocomelon. I'm just thinking about this like because it's like it's putting them in a trance to where they're quiet, right? That's why the parents like it. But I never thought about it being like on some crazy shit though, you know? But now that I think about it, I heard Miss Rachel's a good channel. Yo, Clink, thank you for the tab. Yo, Emo Empress, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Oh, thank you for the follow. How you doing? Okay, y'all, let's keep going. I'm yapping. I ain't gonna lie, I'm yapping right now. Let's go.
The show is so insanely addictive, it's being compared to nicotine and causing developmental issues amongst the kids who can't stop watching.
Whoa. 7.7 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD. What's the context for this? You can't just throw this on top of something. What's the chat? When it comes to research, I'm a real stickler for how that stuff is presented because I am a little confused. What study is this coming from? Hey, maybe they tell us. I don't know. Yo, Emo Empress, what up? How's it going?
Children's TV expert Jerica Sands calls it the most damaging show a child can watch, explaining the sneaky ways in which they make the show addictive.
No.
Firstly, there's the colors.
Okay.
Take, for example, the wheels.
Okay. Now, this part is particularly fascinating to me because I am very fascinated by like the marketing psychology angle of things and the colors. I don't know if that would fall under like psychology part, but like the marketing thing is just fascinating to me, in all the different ways you can break down how to change people's perception of something. Like if you put something like, let's just say like if you do I don't know. Wait, what? You remind me of Whoopi Goldberg. You remind me of what's that some white dude rock band guy. I don't know what his name is, but I can see his face. You remind me of them. I just can't remember their name. Maybe you know who they are, but you definitely got that default emo rocker style down.
On the bus. The three main
Oh,
colors.
okay. I remember what I was gonna say. So when, let's just say, if you change the packaging of something to green, it'll make the consumer feel like it's more earthly or it's more healthy. Like just like subtle things like that with like color psychology. I don't know if that's a thing, but like y'all get what I'm saying with that, right? So it's just that side of it. When you really start getting into the marketing psychology and people like hacking the way your brain works, or like they know more about how your brain works than you do, and they use that against you to get you to do things you wouldn't normally do, or change your perception or how you're perceiving something that they're trying to sell, like, or media. It's just interesting.
Firstly, there's the colors. Take, for example, the wheels on the bus. The three main colors, blue,
Whoa, 6 billion. Whoa. 6 billion views. Whoa. Hold on. Did I see that right?
There's the colors. Take, for example, the wheels on the...
Oh my God. 6.5 billion views in 6 years. That's the method. It's like I always knew kids content was the method, but 6.5 bill chat, 6.5 bill is crazy. Whoa. Yo, Bebop, thank you for the tab. Have a great day. Be safe out there. Please. Y'all to go tap in with Bebop, W streamer, W supporter. Always appreciate you. Emo said, how's my day? My day's going good. We're just recording a video, you know what I'm saying? You're in the YouTube video right now.
The bus. The three main colors, blue, green, and yellow, are all at maximum saturation, meaning they cannot be made any brighter, no matter how hard you try. Extreme saturation
what that mean?
is normally used for alerts and notifications, as it's exciting, dynamic, and attracts attention, which is why it's also used in slot machines.
So they're doing like a like hyper saturated, like everything's max saturation to like, that's... you see what I'm saying, chat? It's stuff like that where it starts to get sleazy. Like, I'm interested in learning about it, but I don't want to use the information against people, like, but in this world, you being able to manipulate people can make you a lot of money. And it's like, I want to be strategic but not manipulative, but I am just like, from a learning like student perspective, like I'm fascinated about like all these little things, like that part about the saturation, like that's just kind of mind-blowing. Like just how do they find this stuff out? Like whatever field that is where they discover this stuff, I need to go work in that field, because like that's like, if I could have a job where I'm doing that type of research or like exploring that more, or like finding real world examples, problem solving with it, how can we turn that into something good? It's always used for bad and to take advantage of people and to make money. What if there's a way to do something positive with the same thing that's hacking your brain into doing something you don't want to do, or getting you to buy something or pay attention to something? What if there's a way to do something positive? Use it for people's benefit. Who knows? Of course, the world is too greedy to actually explore that avenue, but that's the type of stuff where like, if I did it, I want to like look at it from a different perspective type shit.
And puts these colors in perfect contrast, making them appear even more vibrant, which is different to, for example, Bluey, in which the colors instead blend together. Cocomelon's also different.
That's so smart. Damn. It's so smart that it's evil, man. To like, really, when you really get down to it, not the morality police, but I don't know, man. It's just something about it just don't feel good. It doesn't feel like the right thing to do to people, like when you're going to those depths. But it's also not inherently bad either. It's not like it's, oh, this is just so horrible, it's not like, in isolation it's not. But when you look at the long-term effects on the kids, their attention span, or people in general, even not just the kids, but the people, it's interesting when you start exploring the residual effects of it rather than just, because if we just look at this in isolation, it's like, okay, no biggie, they're changing colors and they're making it saturated. Okay, big whoopty. The kids are addicted to hallucination. Big whoopty. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that don't see a problem with it. And I can understand why if you're thinking about the short term, but it's kind of like how we're all addicted to our phones and these apps are like hacking into our brain and hacking into deep subconscious psychology in order to manipulate us into staying on the apps as long as possible and spending as much money as possible. It's kind of like how in the moment it doesn't feel like a big deal, but when you take a step back and you look big picture at the effects it has on mental health, physical health, your perception of yourself, your perception of the world, your energy, your mood. Like when you start looking at all those and you combine the fact that there is some degree of an effect on all those things, even if it's small. Let's say it only affects you 1%. Okay, well, you're engaging with this technology over and over and over and over and over. So when that 1% that it affects you starts piling up over the long run, we start to see different issues pop up, and they're more prevalent now than they were before. All this, even more ADHD, even more all these other conditions or behavioral issues, and you wonder where it comes from. Well, that thing that we didn't feel like was a big deal at the time, when we're scrolling or hand a kid an iPad or hand them a phone that's not on parental control, the thing that we felt like at that time isn't a big deal, it starts to snowball and it gets bigger until we can't ignore it. And then it's like something like this, where it's like, it seems like it's not that big of a deal to just put a show on and let your kid watch the show. But the show that's being put on ain't the same type of show as it was before when we was watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, where it was dull ass colors, hella blend. They weren't trying to manipulate the saturation of the show or manipulate the frequency of the song he was singing or some shit like that. They weren't trying to do all that. But I feel like, you know, in regards to like the culture we have of detaching ourselves from the kids and trying to essentially have like a digital babysitter, like that's really more what the issue is. You know, even when it comes down to being aware enough of what your kid is watching or what's out there to be able to pick a Miss Rachel as an option for your kid versus a Cocomelon, because it's not like inherently it's wrong to have your child watch a show or anything like that. It's just like a lot of parents are not connected and tapped in. The parents are even caught into the manipulation of the color or the content or how addictive it is because it's effective, number one, and number two, it might catch their eye over a more stripped down kid show or something like that. So, you know, then a lot of parents are not present and active in monitoring their kids, what their kids watch, the teenagers, let alone the little kids, where they could just stick them in front of a screen. So it's crazy, like when you break it down and look at it a little more deep. But yeah. Emo Empress, are you putting AI shit in my chat? This looked like some Chat GPT shit. What are we doing right now? I know for a fact this is Chat GPT. You know what this is? This is like those accounts on Twitter that will like summarize what the tweet was about. Yeah, I know for a fact it is. Come on, Chat GPT radar on point. It's something about the way that they word things. There's something about the way the AI puts sentences together. I can kind of see the pattern with it. But yeah. So in regards to that, you know, it's a little scary. You know, I'm about to butcher this. Rewatch. Oh my god, I'm about to crash up. We rewatched The Social Dilemma, okay? That's what I was trying to get out. We rewatched The Social Dilemma. And basically, you know, I had watched it when it first came out, And for those that don't know, that's a show basically where they talk about, it's a bunch of people who were either like engineers or psychologists or former employees at companies of the biggest apps that we use, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all them. They were talking about realizing the effects that social media has on a deeper level in how they're essentially turning us into a product. Like they're selling our data, and they're slowly shifting our perception and decision making and thoughts over time, without regards to the effect that it has on humans long term, because they're extracting value out of us, also crossing over into invading privacy. But yeah, so essentially they're pimping us out for our data, and we are the what's it called, they had this phrase in there that was like, the only fields where they call people their customers users is drugs and technology. And I was like, damn, that's profound. That's very profound. And I was like, yo, that's simple, but that's so deep though. Because yeah, like we're addicted and attached to the product. They're all the app's jobs is to get us addicted and on the app and spend as much money as possible. Their job is to figure out how to make us feel like we're making a choice about what we're doing. Like they're supposed to convince us that we want this thing, or that we want to spend time, and they do a very good job at that because of how their algorithms work. So when it comes to the Cocomelon stuff, it's like we're basically seeing that same idea, but it's just manifested in a kid's show. But that's symbolic, to be honest, like of our entire society, for real.
For example,
that's really what our whole society is like. It's just extracting value, going to the extreme, making things as saturated as possible. You know, like it's weird because it's like a show, it's colors, but it's very like symbolic of the state of our society and how we prioritize things. You know, it's like the extreme, the most, you know, it's an extra large fry, not just a regular fry. You know, it's an extra large drink. You know, it's like it's just a common theme where it's like a more. Like extreme. Everything's just like extreme here. Like, and now they're like shaping kids' brains to that extreme from their infancy stage, from their foundational years, from their formative years. They're tailoring their brain and training their brain to that extreme so they can keep them hooked as a customer throughout their whole life. They're stealing hours of our life. I just really been thinking about this. Like they're really stealing as much time from us, as much money from us as possible. You know, when you really think about it.
Bluey, in which the colors instead blend together. Cocomelon's also different because it's highly repetitive. There's a reason they have 38 videos with over a billion views.
38 videos over a billion. What other channel got them stats? I would love to see like a short list of like what other channels meet that criteria. That's nutty.
Child's brain is wired to learn through repetition, so it feels right to them to watch the same thing over and over again. Cocomelon abuses this in almost every video. For example, in the Yes Yes Playground song, they pick a word to repeat 3 times in every sentence.
Then they're doing it 3 times. Something about the brain loves things in 3. So that alone is like, that's just basic. Like, I mean, if you learn like public speaking or communications or anything like that, you kind of learn that. So it's not like that's like insidious alone, but when you in isolation, these things don't look that crazy in isolation, but you have to look at the full context and the full picture and think long term. If you're not thinking long term, it's not going to matter to you, you know. But it's concerning how many people have kids and just aren't even aware of like what their kids are watching. Like I'm telling you, if I was a parent, I will be, everything I've ever seen my child watch, I'm going to be researching it on my own, watching, studying the videos so I can see what type of content my child is consuming. I like too many people are just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna let them do their own thing. Like, yeah, I'll just give my kid the phone. I'll just give them the laptop. I'll just give them the iPad and they can do whatever. It's like, what? Or they just watching whatever YouTubers. They don't know what YouTubers and streamers they kids watching. Like, no, you can't be that out of tune. You have to know. You have to do your research.
Pairing it with a subtly repeating background lullaby, keeping children hooked. Literally no show or movie puts my son into a deep trance the way Cocomelon does. The second it's on the TV, he turns into a toddler zombie who doesn't see or hear anything else that's going on in the room. This is only exacerbated by Cocomelon's subtitles, which have also been a heavy point of criticism. The letters are not educational.
Yeah. That's interesting too, because a lot of the kids who are watching can't read, but it is very well known, like in content, that if you throw subtitles on top of video, it helps capture the attention. So this isn't like anything new, but it is kind of interesting when you realize their audience. A lot of babies, there's definitely some kids who can read who are watching, but like if you think about the majority audience, like it's kids who can't read that well. So it's not like they're reading. And that person made a good point. They said the letters are not educational. I can barely read them fast enough. It's just another element to capture your little one's attention. It is. That's why people put captions on regular videos. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, y'all. When you just add it up, like look at how fast the subtitles are going by. No little kid, even if they can read, is gonna be able to read that fast.
Hear anything else that's going on in the room. This is only exacerbated by Cocomelon's
Yeah, most little kids aren't able to read that. That was like what, 3 seconds? Most of them not reading that fast.
Which have also been a heavy point of criticism. The letters are not educational. I can barely read them fast enough. It's simply another interesting element to capture your little one's attention. Cocomelon explains in every description, our goal is to help make learning a fun and enjoyable experience for kids, giving you the peace of mind that your children are receiving quality educational content. But people have argued that they're teaching exactly what children shouldn't do. For example, in the No Bedtime song, the baby refuses to brush his teeth, have a bath, put on pajamas, or get in bed. The education is that he eventually agrees to do so, yet a TikTok user was critical, stating, anytime I'd ask my son to do a simple task, he'd say no.
Oh, God, you teaching him a song of saying no. I'm just thinking about it. Okay. Dang, because he just repeating what he's saying in the video. Dang. This is why I like people who think, because like that's some real subtle shit that like most people wouldn't think about. And like them watching the music video or the video of the kid saying no. Kids literally do just like repeat stuff they hear. So if they're making like a song format, and a big part of the song is him refusing to do things his mom asked him to do, there is gonna be a lot of little kids that just like they're just being like the person they saw on the show. So damn, that's crazy.
He's sitting there watching Cocomelon, which taught him no, and to say no to me. On the topic of education, Jerica-san stated, these people don't give a shit about our children. They care about money. That's it.
Yeah, because don't they got Cocomelon merch and toys and all that stuff now? Yeah.
Cognitive development in direct exchange for their wealth, and there's pretty good evidence supporting this. A New York Times journalist visited Cocomelon's studio, discovering their #1 focus is keeping children hooked. Cocomelon's data and analytics team sifts constantly through YouTube numbers to determine exactly what resonates. Should a girl wear black jeans or blue jeans? Should the music be louder or softer? Should the bus be yellow or red? Yellow is the answer, as they use a darker method to ensure that they're correct. Cocomelon has a dedicated Distractotron room in which once a month children are brought here one at a time and shown a handful of episodes to
Whoa. Wait. Once a month, children are brought one at a time and shown a handful. Okay, so this isn't just a Cocomelon thing. The way he presented was like, oh, this is Cocomelon having a Distractotron room. They're saying that there's research at a London company that produces 29 of the most popular online kids shows in the world. And they found on more than 150 platforms in 32 languages. Okay, so this isn't just Cocomelon basically. But they're saying once a month, children are brought there one at a time and shown a handful of episodes to figure out which parts of the show are engaging and which are tuned out. Wow, so they named it the Distractatron. Wow, it's a small TV screen placed a few feet from a larger one that plays a continuous loop of banal real-world scenes. A guy pouring a cup of coffee, someone getting a haircut, each lasting about 20 seconds. Whenever a youngster looks away from the
figure out exactly which parts of the shows are engaging and which are tuned out.
The Moonbug show took them to
Cocomelon, there's a second screen which plays a continuous loop of banal real-world scenes. A guy pouring a cup of coffee, someone getting a haircut, each lasting about 20 seconds. Whenever a youngster looks away from the Moonbug show to glimpse the Distractatron, a note is jotted down. We can see what they're looking at and the exact moment when they got distracted. Therefore, education clearly isn't the primary goal.
Right, okay, now I get it, chat. Click for me. Okay, so basically, chat, what they're doing, in more simple words, they have trials essentially they're running on the kids in order to learn more information about what does and doesn't work in the content. Like I said, in isolation, not inherently bad. But essentially, so they got the Cocomelon, and then they have basically a video of something that's boring and not interesting. So if there's something in the Cocomelon show or whatever show they have, like, because this company has multiple shows, multiple kid shows, basically, they're like, all right, if this colorful, high saturation, highly engaging show, if we're going out our way to try to get you addicted to this and stuck on watching this, if there's something that's so uninteresting that you rather go watch the video that we know is going to be boring to you, like if you look away from our attempt at trying to hook your brain to look at something boring, you must really think what you're looking at that time is boring. So they're basically using that to work backwards and take out the parts. So say there's a part where, you know, there's some part in the show, it's not stimulating enough. So the kid's like, what's going on with this little haircut? They're writing that down as, oh, we need to take that part out because it wasn't engaging enough to keep their attention. So imagine if they keep repeating that process until they cut out all the parts that the kids deem like boring. Now you're getting a more condensed and tightly packed video in terms of like the density of how engaging it is. So what I mean by that is, like, let's say if there's a video that's 10 minutes and there's one interesting part 3 minutes in, there's another interesting part 7 minutes in. That's not densely engaging. If there's something like a Mr. Beast video where every 5 seconds the screen's changing, or every 3 seconds the screen's changing to something else, that's densely engaging content. So they're basically trying to engineer or create that by doing the research in this way on this Distractatron. It's actually pretty fascinating. I mean, that is very effective, but the morality of it, I can't say it's wrong. And I can't say it's inherently wrong. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. Only thing I can see is like problematic is like maybe labeling it as educational content. That's just trying to like refine your product and get better. And this wouldn't be a thing if algorithms didn't exist. You know? They're essentially just trying to tailor it to what the algorithm wants. So if the algorithm didn't demand that for a video to be successful, then maybe we wouldn't even have this
moment when they got distracted. Therefore, education clearly isn't the primary goal. Keeping kids' attention is, and this is proven by Cocomelon's most addictive element, rapid camera cutting. It's crazy how many
Mr.
times
B
the
method
frame changes on Cocomelon. It's the same type of addicting behavior that we experience on a TikTok binge.
Who said that? Who said that? I told y'all this is basically the kids version of TikTok. They don't have to scroll, but they're getting the same like dopamine hit that the adults get when they're scrolling on TikTok or whatever app. This is the kids version.
It's the quick change of frame that releases that dopamine and makes the videos addicting to watch. Count the seconds between a change of frame. Well, TikToker the Circus Brain did exactly this. He firstly counts the changes on My Little Pony, concluding there's about 6 seconds between each cut. He then compares it to Cocomelon.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1.
Wow.
2, 1.
That's crazy.
2, 1. 1.
In her video, The Nightmare That Is Cocomelon, Savantix draws a similar conclusion. She found that 96% of the shots in Baby Shark were shorter than 2 seconds. She then compares 4 different animated shows, again finding Cocomelon has the shorter shots.
The longest shot on a Cocomelon video was 6 seconds. The longest shot on Arcane was 8 seconds. The longest shot on Bluey was 27 seconds. And the longest shot on Encanto was 18 seconds.
Which, when combined with every other element, creates some terrifying statistics.
Right.
Dr. Kristen Summer explained.
Right. You see what I'm seeing, chat? He's laying this out perfectly. This is exactly what I was trying to say. In isolation, the lullabies alone, not bad. The saturated colors alone, not bad. The subtitles alone, not bad. The repetitive content, not bad. You got to make it catchy, right? The camera cuts alone, not bad. But when you combine all of them and then you factor in that it's targeted towards kids in particular, if it's adults and adults get hooked, okay. But it's kids, they're sensitive. These are vulnerable. You can literally shape their brain. Now, a big part of it is on the parents in terms of like regulating it, but a lot of them don't know how this stuff works. These people aren't like experts in their field, but that's why videos like this, I feel like, are pretty important. But this is what I'm saying, like when you stack all these things together and then realize it's targeted towards kids who their perception of things is not really there. They don't really understand, oh, I'm being targeted to with all these things. You know what I'm saying? Like they get turned into zombies essentially.
Create some terrifying statistics. Dr. Kristen Summer explained that when showing an infant normal video content, they'll focus on the screen just 11% of the time. However, when the video is instead switched to Cocomelon, their screen engagement skyrockets to a whopping 74%.
Well, that's what they used in that Distractotron room. That's what they did. That's what the difference in refining the content and optimizing it and doing those little tests they were doing, the little research study with the kids. That's essentially what they're trying to do, is raise that percent.
This therefore produces stories such as this. I used to volunteer for a preschool and they had song time. A Cocomelon video came on and all of the tots stopped what they were doing, put down their cheese crackers, and remained fixated on the screen for the duration of the video. It was honestly kind of terrifying. YouTuber Saberspark shared his own personal anecdote. He asked to watch a Disney movie with his 2 younger cousins, who both completely refused, and instead spent all day glued to an iPad playing the addictive show. In Cocomelon Made My Kid a Zombie, a mother talks about her son. He would be in a daze while watching it. You could be waving your hand right in front of his face and he wouldn't move. It was almost scary. This was also discovered by Sarah Mills 98, who explained when the Cocomelon addiction is so real that my 1-year-old can navigate the TV to turn it on by himself.
1 year old?
However, nothing shows the addiction better than the Cocomelon TikTok trend. Parents will play the show's intro loudly and video their kids sprinting toward the television, where you can witness their mood change instantly. The New York Times journalist found something similar. The kid in the Distractotron had shown up in the midst of a tantrum, which ended the second he heard the Cocomelon theme song. It was no surprise to Wheeler, the head of research. 99% of kids, he said, if they're having issues when they get here, once that Cocomelon song comes on, they're like, life is okay, all is good with the world. Obviously,
Oh,
there's a reason
wow.
for this. Cocomelon is so hyper-stimulating that it actually acts as a drug.
Right.
And what happens
It
when you
is.
take the drug away? Young children
Right.
experiencing symptoms of addiction and withdrawal.
This is what I was talking about. The long-term effects of this stuff. And then when we start getting these kids with behavioral issues and shit, wasn't there a thing where this one kid had like crashed out on his teacher because she took his Nintendo Switch or something like that? Now, to be fair, I do think he had some mental disabilities. But I mean, yo, stop whining about the fucking ads, bro. You're about to piss me the fuck off, bro. Stop whining about the ads. Stop bitching and complaining about it. I'm really about to get tight. Like, stop. You sent 2 messages about it. It's black for a reason. If you don't want the ads, get Twitch Turbo, bro. I don't know what to tell you, gang. You're not about to keep crying about that shit. Like, bro, you either gonna watch the ads or not. Like, what the fuck? You really blowing my shit. I'm trying to do a video and you keep whining and crying about the fucking ads, bro. If you don't want to watch the ads, go watch the video on YouTube when I'm done. Like, go watch the YouTube video. Maybe you don't need to be in the chat. Anyway, like I was saying before I was so really interrupted, the long-term effects of this shit, like, is crazy when you look at it, because it's like, bro, it's digital crack. The apps, the other apps, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, like, they're already bad on their own. But think about it. If someone, if it's a baby, they're not gonna scroll on TikTok, but they will sit in front of a TV and just sit there and watch that and get like brainwashed and be like in a daze and in a trance watching something. So it's like, okay, think about it like this. Instead of it taking the kid getting older, and let's say maybe they become 4 or 5 years old before they start getting on TikTok. Okay, but yeah, so imagine, chat, you have a kid that maybe they wouldn't have got on a TikTok or a YouTube or something until they were 5, which is still very young, by the way. That is still extremely young, by the way. So let's just say by the time they get to 5, they would get on those other apps. You're getting to them with the Cocomelon and the other addictive shows like that. You're getting to them before they can even get to that age, because they have to somewhat be able to comprehend, oh, I need to scroll. This is what I'm looking at to engage on those other apps. So they're like, nah, it's not good enough for us to get the kids when they 4, 5, 6 years old. We want to get to them when they're 1. No, we want to get to them before they're 1. That's the part that makes it kind of sleazy and kind of like, this just ain't right. Because it's like, you are getting them addicted to a digital drug. And I think we need to start like recognizing that these digital products and these apps are drugs. I don't know what it's going to take for it to get recognized as that, but if you can get addicted to your phone, that needs to have some regulations the way a damn drug has or something. I don't know. Because it's like, so wait, you can acknowledge that people can be addicted to phones, be addicted to games, be addicted to these things, but there's no regulations on that. There's no age limits, you know, or like certain controls that need to be put on there. Like, I don't know. People are just way too loose with this. Cause like, bro, like, it's like, I get it. You want the kid to be quiet. I've watched kids my whole life. Trust me, I know. I just feel like in regards to like, you know, just throwing the kid the iPad and saying, here, watch this all day. Like, I know it's hard, but at the same time, you gotta actively be engaged. This is why I say a lot of people don't need to be parents. They don't have the time. They don't have the bandwidth to give the child the attention that they need.
obviously leaving them completely dysregulated. TikTok user ThePoff1 filmed what happens when you take the show away, explaining he'll be inconsolable for at least 10 to 15 mins after, adding in the description,
because it can't get his crack.
Is legit. Once you have a taste of the cocoa, it's hard to break the addiction, which this Reddit user had experienced even worse. My husband and I have been worried about our child. I can slowly see how she'd throw violent tantrums at home and in church whenever she'd get bored and would want to watch the show. Her behavior changes the moment she watches the show, and she will not even eat her meals if she wouldn't watch it.
Wow.
After these tantrums end,
kid won't even eat unless Cocomelon's on. That's crazy. Yes, this is the part that's scary, y'all. This is the part where I'm saying it's like, it's very subtle. It's a subtle evil because it surface level, it makes you have your guard down, right? Because you're like, oh, it's just a show. But this part right here is probably the most insidious part of how they're programming kids to have mental health issues, essentially, and emotional dysregulation issues from the beginning. And this isn't even including, what if the child is already in an environment that makes them emotionally dysregulated or causes these feelings, and they're watching Cocomelon on top of it? What does that do? You know, what, you know, we know people who are in stressful situations already have a higher potential to get like addicted and things of that nature. So when it comes to the kids, I'm just wondering, like, what heightened effect does that have if a child is already in a stressful environment and they watch these shows because of the stress that's going on around them, and they're more addicted to it than usual, which would be crazy, but it's definitely possible. It's just stuff like that where it gets complicated. Yo, King Guns, I hope you have an amazing night. Shout out to my guy, King Guns. Thank you for the shouty 10. Y'all go drop him a follow. He's an amazing person.
Not even eat her meals if she wouldn't watch it. After these tantrums end, kids can experience a general discomfort in the speed of everyday life. The more they watch the show, the more their brain begins to expect this intense level of stimulation.
Basically, Cocomelon overstimulates their brains so much that everything else just
feels boring. Yeah.
In comparison.
However, the potential
that can cause depression. That's one of the, bro, that's setting you up for something crazy. It's kind of like, that's the part that makes it like a drug, because it's the same thing with why people get addicted to drugs and why they have withdrawal symptoms when they're not on the drugs. It's literally the exact same effect. It's just a different thing fueling it, right? So say for dopamine, instead of you, I don't know, snorting Coke or doing Adderall, you're doing a digital version of it, essentially. You know, like if we're talking about like in a recreational sense, you're getting that effect from, you know, like a screen, you know, essentially. That's all it is. Or screen or sound, or a combination of the sight and sound of the show. And it's causing the exact same, essentially, withdrawal symptoms for the kids. What happens when people withdraw from drugs? They get cranky, they have mood issues, you know, they have eating problems, sleeping problems. So now imagine that manifested in a kid. All you're seeing is the results. You're not even connecting it to the show or whatever other apps and stuff they use. You're not even making that connection, but it's there. And it's kind of crazy how just like one little thing, I mean, now combine this with all the other extra stimulants the kids have in life, you know, it's scary, man. It's scary. Cause like, if you're starting, you're essentially, this is why it's so bad. Some of us start getting addicted to apps when we were adults or late teens, right? So the level of technology we have, it took us like further into our life to start using it. We might be addicted, but imagine if we had it from when we were 1 year old. I can't even imagine how few brain cells I would have left. I'm just thinking about that, and that's essentially we're seeing that generation like come up right now. iPad kids. I know it's a joke, but it's like on the real, like, no, that's really gonna be a thing. Like iPad kids is really a thing.
Simulation.
Basically, Cocomelon overstimulates their brains so much that everything else just seems slow and boring in comparison.
However, the potential consequences get much worse than this. As mentioned at the start, it was the cause of a child's speaking problems, with a notable reply reading, "Same thing happened with my daughter too. She's 4 but can't speak properly. She knows the words, but she does not like to frame the sentence or speech. She has been watching these Cocomelons or such other stuffs for 2 or 3 years. Hope we're not too late."
This is an interesting part too. She said, the daughter has now developed anger issues, hyperactive. Though it's been a year, we completely stopped giving her the mobile or TV or any other gadgets. But we play audio songs on the mobile to soothe her mind, and she does painting house. Hope we're not too late. See that? Developing anger issues, hyperactive. That sounds like somebody withdrawing from drugs, chat.
Over on Reddit, a speech-language pathologist explained, "Screen time in general is linked with speech delays for a variety of reasons, but Cocomelon is excessively bad. Firstly, unlike other TV shows or movies, it doesn't have a story. It's just very short clips with poorly written songs. The kids aren't able to follow the plot, learn vocabulary, and see the resolution of a conflict, supported by infant specialist Meg Fora."
And the problem with fast-paced TV programs is that we find that little ones' language development is slower.
On the Agents of Speech YouTube channel.
Right, because they're not giving full conversations and full sentences. So if they're watching that loop, it's not like when we were kids watching shows or watching movies, right? We're watching 30 minutes, hours. We're watching the pacing of something. We're understanding the concept of pacing or things taking time. You know, watching shows and stuff like that reinforces these ideas. So if your reinforced idea is that everything is quick, the screen changing every 1-2 seconds, I mean, your brain is expecting everything to be just like that stuff that you're watching. And that's a horrible expectation to have, because then when you realize how slow and normal and unexciting life is, that can make you very depressed, and it can make you get addicted to some other thing. Maybe your kid's gonna start off addicted to digital crack, using the apps and watching Cocomelon, and then they're gonna grow up and try to go fill that void with something else. I mean, like, people just aren't thinking like very far down the line about how this could affect them. You know, the anger issues, like the one lady said, that's one thing. Like, in the president, it's like, that's scary to like think that just something could put on for your kid. Man, you gotta look, if you're a parent, you gotta give your child the old shows we used to watch. Give them some of those, some stuff that has a little bit slower pacing or something.
This is again confirmed.
The main problem with watching videos on the internet is that they don't know how to use the language that they learn.
But he adds that 4 to 5 hours of screen time per day can make a toddler completely non-verbal. 4 to 5 hours is obviously a lot of time, but in Cocomelon Made My Kid a Zombie, researchers discovered that 5-year-olds who watch more than 2 hours of TV a day tended to have lower attention spans and were 7.7 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD.
That's where that came from. I was wondering where that was from. 5-year-olds who watch more than 2 hours of TV a day tended to have lower attention spans and were 7.7 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD. Now, what's interesting, this is just for 2 hours of TV. This ain't even specific to Cocomelon yet. I can only imagine if the kids are more likely to have lower attention span and basically 8 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD just from 2 hours of regular TV. Can we imagine what it is just for Cocomelon? If they watch a Cocomelon all day? Oh man, it's pre-GGs.
And were 7.7 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD. These screen times might be even lower for Cocomelon specifically, because as explained by Jerica Sands, not all screen time is created equal. A child who just watched 30 minutes of Cocomelon and a child who just watched 30 minutes of Trash Truck will look like a very, very different child. Thankfully, here lies a simple solution. Ciara Renee explained, my 2-year-old is speech delayed and addicted to Cocomelon. Switched to Miss Rachel 2 days ago, and he's already saying more words and hasn't had any tantrums. Kim.it shared an almost identical anecdote. My 8-month-old was obsessed with Cocomelon and having—
Dang, free Miss Rachel promo? Miss Rachel already popping. So this ain't surprising.
So I cancelled Cocomelon and only let her watch Miss Rachel.
Oh, it's so adorable.
And she said her first word within the first 3 days of watching. Clearly, parents are able to simply change the channel, but not before leaving.
Yeah, because Miss Rachel's like our old shit. Like the classic Elmo, Sesame Street. Like that's, I haven't seen her stuff like too much, but like I kind of understand the format. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Days of watching. Clearly.
Oh wait, they disliking Miss Rachel because she's saying free Palestine, ain't they?
Parents are able to simply change the channel, but not
I just
before
realized
leaving
that.
Cocomelon a massive amount of dislikes. They've therefore earned the title.
Oh, I thought that was Miss Rachel.
The absurdly popular kids show parents hate, and Cocomelon has—
I was about to say, nah, but they do. There is a subset of people that hate Miss Rachel because she said free Palestine. So I thought those dislikes was on her video.
Actually responded to the criticism that explain our shows are not intended to replace outdoor playtime or playdates. They have a place in children's entertainment time, and as with food, exercise, etc., it comes down to each parent.
They kind of ate though. They kind of right. I mean, they are right. It's on you to develop your child's skills. You can't just hand them an iPad and be like, oh, learn from this video. You have to be hands-on. We losing recipes, man.
To find the right and appropriate balance for their children. Our responsibility is ensuring that the quality of the content that we produce is high and beneficial for the development of a child's cognitive and soft skills. It is worth adding that our social media communities are filled with stories of parents who experience firsthand how Moonbug content helps their children. Cocomelon does have a crazy amount of supporters, but it's obvious that some of them are simply ignoring the downsides. My baby learned—
Yeah, because y'all just don't want to take care of y'all kids. Y'all want the iPad or the phone or the TV to watch your child. So of course you love it because you can do whatever you want without paying attention.
The alphabet and numbers from Cocomelon. She may not speak a complete sentence, but she expresses her wants through phrases.
Oh God, you don't see the problem with this.
But is it Cocomelon's responsibility to ensure that babies are talking? Well, no. People love blaming cartoons and games for raising children, and not the shitty parents that don't step in to stop them from watching so much. Cocomelon is actually a really sad symbol of parents giving their children tablets instead of actually parenting and interacting with them.
Yep.
Ultimately, parents are the—
Facts. He right though, I ain't gonna lie. I'm glad I grew up watching Tom and Jerry. Nah, I know these kids couldn't watch no Tom and Jerry because they couldn't even sit there and, bro, like Tom and Jerry, they weren't even talking. Yeah. The videos on the surface appear educational. It doesn't take long to get addicted to this video. Say you give a kid 1 hour of TV time. So you may not even get the chance to know it's bad before it happens. What happens when the shows goes off? The kids have a meltdown. I remember in old kids shows, Nick Jr. Sprout, a lot of them had a wind down where the characters wrap up their story and say goodbye. It gets closure as a viewer. That's a good point. Yeah, I do remember shows like what's the one with the clock? The big comfy couch. That was one of my favorite parts of the show because I was always sad when the show went off. But she had a little section where she, did her little wind down and then got in the bed and like read a story and then, she left. And then it was the next show. Like, yeah, that's a good point though. Like, I think Blue's Clues had some shit like that too. But yeah, you know what? Now Miss Rachel's out here expected to raise them. Right. Valid. I ain't gonna lie. Remember that Steve Jobs wanted everyone's kid to have an iPad but didn't want his kids to have one? Or the guy who made Lunchables saying he wouldn't feed them to his kids? Wow. So basically, y'all need to start watching Miss Rachel. All right, man. Y'all know what it is. CEO Ciara. Make sure y'all drop a follow on Twitch. Link pinned in the comments in the description. Appreciate y'all checking the video out. Like, comment, and sub. Let me know what y'all think about this. I definitely yapped a lot on this one, but hey, I got my real thoughts out. Until next time, y'all, we're out.